panel discussion. Our moderator will be Mrs. Berthy Adom. So I'll just give a little background. Mrs. Berthy Adom is a married woman with 3 children. She's a professional teacher with 15 years subject teaching experience and 6 years in STEM education coordination. She is currently the Greater Accra Regional STMIE Coordinator of the Ghana Education Service and Country Coordinator for the GLOBE Program, a U.S. NASA Mission Earth NGO. She's a member and has been a yearly mentor on 3 occasions. She holds an MA in Educational Leadership and Management, a BSc in Science, a certificate in Software Engineering, a NEBO certificate in Environmental Assessment, and is currently a Master of Philosophy student in Environmental Science. Mrs. Berthy Adom is also a TV host. She hosts Family Life on Hope TV. So she is into STEM. Okay, so Mariam will introduce our second panelist for today, our first panelist for today.
Our first panelist is in the person of Mrs. Preba Arkaah. Preba Arkaah is a lawyer with a master's in corporate and commercial law and a member of the bars of Ghana, England, and Wales, and an industrialist with many years' experience in fast-moving consumer goods, oil and gas, corporate governance, risk and advisory. A humanist, Preba is a firm believer in speaking truth against the false constructs perpetrated by religion, culture, and society to further the patriarchy.
Okay, so then moving on to our second panelist will be Madam Lois Afua Damptey, who is a PhD researcher at the Open University in Nanoscale Energy and Surface Engineering Group, currently investigating the use of low-cost photocatalytic materials for wastewater treatment in Ghana. She is also the director of Sankofa Mentorship Hub at the Synergies Institute and the secretary for Vacation Initiatives in Science, Africa, both NGOs, actively focused on the use of innovative and fun activities to advocate for STEM education. Okay, Mariam.
Our next panelist is Madame Olivia Sewa Opare. Mrs. Olivia Opare is the director of the Science Education Unit at the Ghana Education Service. She is a science activist who is passionate about effective science, STEM education at all levels of education. She has attended and presented at several national and international STEM and STEAM training programs. During lockdown, she presented science lessons on GTV as part of an initiative by the Ministry of Education to teach students in the comfort of their homes. Olivia Opare is married with 4 children.
Okay, so getting into our final panelist, that will be Madame Nanaya Yanka. So she's the founder and CEO of Naya Naturals Limited. She's an industrial woman and passionate to transform how we think about STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, and how we can improve the socioeconomic life of people through manufacturing and industry. Nana graduated summa cum laude with a BBA from Savannah State University in Computer Information Systems and Mathematics, and holds an MBA from Emory University's prestigious, I don't know if I'm getting it right, but Graduate Business School in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so I'm happy that we are all here today, and I want to thank you all for making it on time for our discussion today. So I just want us to know the essence of this, the essence of today's program, celebrating the strides that we have made as women in pursuing gender equality. So from here, I'll just hand over to the moderator to direct us and hold the discussion.
Okay, thank you so much, Marianne. And I'm so grateful to be given this opportunity. Today is going to be a wonderful day, and because I can see strong, grateful women ready to take us through a very wonderful panel discussion. So this is how we are going to have our discussion. We have 4. And we don't want to waste much time on the program. And so we are going to give each and everyone a maximum of 10 minutes. you have been introduced already, so we'll just let you also speak a little about what you do before we all move into the discussion. Today, I want to have a quote. Before we begin, I want to just give this quote by Samaritan Iriani. She's saying that no hero without her. There is no hero in this world without a woman. And so you cannot just say, my company is working, my marriage is working, my work is working, my children are moving with this role. And so women needs to be celebrated. That is why we are celebrating. Also want to let us know the essence of our celebration. In all, before we move on into our panel discussion,
I can't hear you. Am I the only one?
No, you're not.
Okay.
We are celebrating women achievements. And then we are also lobbying for us. And then apart from that, some a younger one. This is the. You can hear me. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, Madam
yes.
Berthy.
Can hear.
We can hear you now, but at some point we couldn't hear you. But I think it's better now. Hello, Madam Berthy. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh.
So sorry, I'm okay. Thank you so much. So what I was saying was that the celebration of women. Hello? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can.
Yes, now we can. Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you now.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Now, celebration of those women is, and we are talking about celebrating equality, lobby for accelerated gender parity, and then fundraising for female-focused charity. And so this is just 4 tips I just want to give to all the men who are here, including my women who are here, that if you are in any organization and you are doing anything, let this 4 focus be your own focus area. Celebrate the achievement of women, raise awareness about women equality, lobby for women accelerated gender parity, and then find a way to raise a fund to support women. On this note, I'll usher you all into the panel discussion.
Thank you.
Our first discussion is going to be, just as I said, we are going to have 10 minutes discussion. Each and everyone is going to be given opportunity to talk. We are going to give different questions to each other. There are some questions that you all answer the same question at the same time. Apart from that, we are going to do specific questions. And so we will zoom into our first question, my dear panelists. I hope you are all fine. If you can hear me, say yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
If you can hear me, say yeah.
Yeah.
NSBE respond power. So let's say power to NSBE. NSBE.
Power.
Power.
NSBE.
Power.
Yes. So we are going into our discussion.
That would be it.
Our first question, and you are going to talk about who you are and the work you do. Please tell us about who you are and the work you do.
Please, who did you call? Because I think your network
This is
just. Okay.
Arkaah.
Okay.
So let's start off. Okay, let me start off by saying that my name is Preba. My surname is Arkaah. And the first thing I would like to say on this panel is that let us dispense with the Mrs. or the Madam. Okay, let us call each other by our names. Let us recognize ourselves for what we are and who we are, not for what we might or may not become. Yes. So let's start with that. Okay. If you feel you have to put a title in front of it, you can say Ms. because that applies to all women, no matter what the age or their situation in life. And I think that is a real recognition of women as they progress and make their own way, rather than just by the accident of having managed to get married. Okay, right. So let's it's so important, and I think it really is the first point, and it speaks to what this day is about. It recognizes women for who they are, not just for what they've managed to, whether they've managed to get married or not. Okay, right.
That's very true.
Okay, so in terms of who I am, as you said in the introduction, I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for many years. A member of the Bar of England and Wales and of Ghana. I hold a master's in corporate and commercial law. I have worked in finance. I have worked in fast-moving consumer goods. I'm currently working in oil and gas, working not just in law, but in the corporate governance and the corporate, public affairs field. I see my job as really as managing risk and seeking opportunities for the organizations that I work for. I help them to navigate the waters of relationships, not just of the public relationships and private relationships as well, the governmental relationships as well. But I also see my job as looking for opportunities for the organizations and helping them to take advantage of those opportunities where they can. I also like to add value by providing my services as a non-exec director, which I do with a number of different organizations. And I try and bring the experience that I have had over the years to help them grow their businesses, to improve their businesses. Same thing, seeing risk, taking advantage of advantages and opportunities that present themselves. And that really is me, okay? Personally, I have 2 children. I am divorced, but happily so, just as I was happily and then unhappily married, but that's another story. But I have 2 children and I'm currently, and that's me. I think that's really me. I have an association with NSBE through my current employer. And I also have, I should mention, I also have a business which I have recently started, which I'm the CEO of, and that is a chocolate making industrial company from bean to bar here in Ghana. So that's me.
Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. We'll move to Nanama. Tell us about yourself, what you do.
Thank you very much as well. I'm glad you corrected my name this time. People do make the mistake of calling me Nanaya a lot because I am the founder and CEO of a brand called Naya by Africa. And it is a beauty brand that I started about 7 years ago in Ghana. It's something that started as a hobby that grew into a passion that is now a business. And it's one of those ways that's actually allowed me to create opportunities for people in various ways, which a lot of them have been women, which I am proud to say. When most of the time people think of the beauty industry, they think women. But in all honesty, there's so many parts of it that I think people miss because women actually are used to market beauty. But when it comes to actually understanding who is actually making the beauty products, we don't actually usually think through what actually that process is. So by building the brand, one of the things I wanted to focus on was first to make sure that to start with something that is popular around Ghana here that also promotes women, and that is with Shea Butter and with Blackstone. And both of those industries are both women focused, and they are both what you call industries that provide so much opportunity for women in rural areas of Ghana to be able to find jobs and opportunities because of the way their communities are set up and how women are marginalized in those communities. Secondly, the other part that we do is once we get those raw materials, we actually do further process them into cosmetic products. And that is actually done by our team, where we have people who do the research, people who get into the production, people who get into the engineering of how things are done. We have marketers, accounts people, and actually we hire mostly women in these areas because we want to make sure that even in supporting and promoting women, we don't take one area and say, okay, women are, we are supporting women growers, but then when you come into the company, it's men who are making the products for women. So that is actually very important to us. And then also finally, so that in that sense supports and promotes women being able to get into different areas of business, not just getting on the marketing and sales side, which is the other part that most people see. And we also do have a retail shop where we actually do advise women on different skin care products, different skin types, and also with this issue of bleaching and colorism and all these things that affect us in this society that most people sometimes think is going away, but when you are in the industry, you realize it's not going anywhere. We struggle with it consistently. People are bleaching their babies all the way to adulthood, and it's become a thing where literally somebody saying you look dark is almost an insult. So these are all these things that we are educating on, we are creating awareness on, and we are working hard as well to be able to make sure that women are looked at as a whole, not just as being used for the art, for beauty products, but also be active participants of it in the manufacturing and processing and earning and making decisions as part of that. Because if you look at most of the beauty brands around the world, they're actually owned by men and they're actually managed by men. And so they are making decisions. And then it's not only women that use beauty products. We all bath, we all, moisturize every day. So as much as it's being promoted like that, we actually do get to miss out on the opportunity of actually being able to create products that serve the entire community. So this is what Naya is about, and this is what I've been involved in, and I'm happy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll move straight to Lois.
Thank you so much, Aunt Betty. So I'll call myself as an academic researcher for a couple of years, and I'm currently doing a PhD in nanoscale engineering and surface engineering at the Open University, as you rightly said, working on a project that's synthesizing materials and changing the surface chemistry of these materials to be able to absorb certain organic contaminants that are present in our water bodies in Ghana. Over the years, I've had to work on various number of projects that are centered, focused on materials in biofuel production, and also leading into a wide range of catalysis, producing wide range of catalysis for water-centered purification processes. I also started out with Sankofa Mentorship Hub, which was using fun ways to communicate science. Science communication has been a very wide field, because over the years we've had to communicate science in a more rigid way where people, mostly women, are not appreciative of the cause. So I started off with that some few years back, also having to work on projects in collaboration with Cambridge Africa in terms of science communication, and also working on Engineering X project funded by the Royal Academy of Engineering, the Afua region of Ghana, where we are focusing on mentoring girls and a total number of 2,000 people to use fun ways and innovative ways to be able to do practical science. I think that's basically what I've been up to. Yeah.
Great. So we are going through, we are really enjoying the various presentation, and we are having, in fact, frankly speaking, I must say we have a diverse panelist from different fields. And so as we have gotten into the academia, we just invite Olivia. In fact, it's very difficult to mention the first name of your boss. And I want to put it on record, panelists over here, that Madam Olivia is my boss, and it will be difficult to mention this raw name. So permit me to use the word Madam Olivia. Please tell us about yourself and the work you do.
Thank you, Berthy, but you don't have a problem at all to call me Olivia.
I'm grateful for you.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Thank you so
much. And I echo to my colleague panelists and to everyone on this very page. I'm happy to be invited. As Berthy rightly said, I am Olivia Opare, Mrs. I think with the introduction, it has already been done. So I'll go straight to what I do. As a Director of Science Education, I think our core mandate is to promote the learning and teaching of science, mathematics, technology, and then this time around, we are saying engineering. But so far as our level is concerned, it is robotics, which we eventually, or it is the basis of engineering. We encourage these younger ones to have interest in engineering as they acquire skills and knowledge in robotics. So this is our core mandate. Our unit is open to everybody, including university students. But what normally people who normally come there, or the target group, because very often the senior high schools, they are in their various schools, and in their various schools, they have labs. So often use their school labs, and then the primary people are lab or a resource center to enhance technical knowledge and skills. So this is what Science Education Unit does. We promote practical, and I believe practical ceases to be science, or even STEM. We can better still STEM or STEAM without practical. Ceases to be subjects, must be done to understanding. So this is what we promote as a unit. Now within the unit we have, Berthy, is it okay?
Please, I thought you are finished. You can go ahead. You have a minute.
Hello? Hello?
Please, you can go
Hello,
ahead. You
Berthy?
have a minute. Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, now the Science Education Unit has 16, I said Science Education Unit has 16 regional coordinators under her, and all the regional coordinators, they also coordinate activities at the districts, at the districts. So they also work with the district coordinator.
Okay, since we keep on losing Madam Olivia, we will try to skip to our next question, but we can from what we've heard from our panelists, we can.
Whatever action plan that is to the various districts and the education queue. Hello.
Keep on losing you, so we want to move. Welcome so much. Welcome for giving us insight into science education. From the 4 panelists, we can all realize that each and every one is into women affairs, and each and every one is promoting the work of women. Some are geared towards the younger generation, others are towards the already made ones. I could say already made ones. We have lawyers around, we have Preba as a lawyer who is also into religious, and I think he's talking about rights, right? And I know she's defending women over there. Let's move on to your career area and your education, and want to find out what has been some of the challenges you have been facing or you faced in the course of your education, and what you are facing in your career path. Please, can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yes.
Very good. So we'll begin from Preba.
Okay, so thank you, Berthy. I would say in terms of challenges, I have never really faced, I don't think I have faced a challenge that I don't think I have overcome academically or in my career, because I have never placed any, limits on myself. I was brought up not to consider myself any differently. My father, there were 5 of us, 3 girls and 2 boys. My father treated nobody any differently in the house. There was no such differentiation in the household. There was never any, you are a girl, you have to behave this way or do anything like this, or you're a boy, you have to behave like you and do this. My father expected everyone to do as much as everything as possible. That doesn't mean that there were not some roles that, yes, the boys would do and the girls wouldn't do. But it was never a question of, because you are a girl, you must behave in this particular way. And I guess because of that, it meant that as I grew up, I never, let me put it this way, I didn't realize I was a girl until people actually told me I was a girl, maybe much later on in my career, and that really should place a limitation upon what I wanted or who I thought I was. So I think that's a very important point to make in bringing up our children. Being sure that they don't feel that there's any difference between them, and that they shouldn't feel that there's any limitation in what they can or cannot do because of that. That doesn't mean that our society does not place limitations upon the women. It does. I mean, if you take a look around at those you see those who you see in various positions, you find that overwhelmingly they are more male. We are a male-dominated society, and that has nothing to do with ability and everything to do with society's how society promotes men, which is what we call the patriarchy. And so it's less about the restrictions that I have faced and more about, I would say, the restrictions that perhaps I haven't realized have been there for me. And this is when you talk about the glass ceiling, this is very much what you would see. It's a ceiling that you cannot see. It's there, but you cannot see it, and that ceiling, yes, it does arise. So it means that there are some organizations and some positions that I would not have been considered for, or I would not have seriously been considered, or simply because of my gender. And so, yes, that is there. But in terms of what I have faced myself, I haven't. I don't think I have faced anything, or anything that I haven't felt that I have overcome. I have never been cowed by any view of anyone of who I should be or what I should be. I mean, I spend a lot of time. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is choose to challenge. Yes. And I think my entire life I have challenged simply because of the way I have been and have been brought up. So not from it's being, not necessarily because I think it's something that needs to be done, but something I think we should all do, male and female. Okay. Choose to challenge for better. Yes.
Okay, but let me follow up with this question before I go to the next panelist. Whilst growing up, were there any message or information given to you that supported you to grow as a girl to a womanhood for you to take this position that you are having?
I guess, I mean, I can remember one incident, but I would not say that there wasn't anything. It was the I would say, looking back now and hearing other stories, I would say it's the absence of this restriction on women, on girls, as in this is your role. It was the absence of that restriction on my part. I felt that helped me. The one incident I would like to talk about is when I was 11, I was actually in school in Sierra Leone, and I won the maths prize for that year. And I remember the maths teacher, who was a foreign teacher, she decided that, I don't know why she decided it, but she decided to award the prize to a boy who, I think he came second. I can't remember where he came, but he was also another boy in my class. And so on speech day itself, I think she read out his name instead of mine, And of course, there was this great big furore at that time. During the speech day itself, they let it pass, but subsequent to that, they did remedy it. But I remember being a little perplexed about why she would do something like that at that time. And I guess to a lot of people, it might have seemed natural, But for me, it was just something that I just found a little strange and a little funny. And then once it was remedied, I just thought no more about it and I went on with life. But I never thought it's because he's a boy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's great. That's great. In fact, if I heard you, what helped you is the absence of the restriction that you never had. Right? You never had restrictions, yes. So you were able to grow. Thank you so much. Let me go to Nanama. So Nanama, you also answered the same questions for me. Yes. Any challenge? What were the obstacles growing up in school and then at work?
So I actually, funny enough, I actually would say I had a similar experience as Preba just explained, because, and that's the same thing I tell people whenever they ask me, how am I able to do the things that I'm able to do? And I think I keep saying that I don't think women, we actually need equality. I think what we actually need is for people to just get out of our way. I think what society has been able to do is create this thing where we are almost like a price for something instead of actually just letting us be the way we are. If you actually think through it, most of us when we're growing up, we were better than most of the guys who are now heads of places that we look at, that we are like, how did this guy even get there? Not because he was better, not because we don't think they become smart over the years, but I think over time what happens is it's just the restrictions that get put. It's at a point we say, okay, now you have to go and get married. Oh, okay, now this is the things for men. Now this is for women. But actually growing up, being in school, I never actually had any issues. At home, we also grew up with both men and women. Most of there were 3 girls and a guy, a boy, 4 of us, and they were all treated about the same. And it wasn't actually until I think when I started working that I realized that I would be in a room where I was the only woman. And even that, it didn't hit or occur to me until people started using that as an excuse. But it wasn't that until they started thinking that, okay, me being in the room because they were just all men and just me. So they started eliminating me in some of the meetings and things like that. And it took me a while to even notice that, because as up until then, it was never an issue. So what happens is, I think women being able to, if I always say that this whole issue with equality and all of that, if they would just leave us alone to just grow, to just become who we would really have to be, I think we'll be okay. I don't think we will continue to cower and do the things if we didn't restrict women to say, okay, choose these gender roles. And I say that I think some of that maybe part of my privilege has also been maybe I grew up middle class, because I've also seen where in some homes there were the opportunities for the family to be able to take care of only 3.
Okay, so let me cut you and come in. Let me come in and then ask you, how were you able to overcome that stereotyping at work? And then what message you also had that supported you to move on?
So even at work, so when that started happening and I started noticing it, I just literally spoke up and I called it out, because that's one of the things that I think women, we tend to do. When it happens, normally we just tend to say, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't even want to be there anyway. It's all guys. Let them do what they are doing. The things they're talking about. No, I would sit in the meeting and I would challenge things they would say about women I didn't agree with. So when you start to do that, they start to realize that they start to realize that this is a place for you as well. Don't back off just because it gets harder. And that's what it becomes, because we get to a point, it gets harder, the conversations get more difficult, you get into spaces where there are more men than women, you become the token woman they use for everything. And there are sometimes you have to be, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to be your token woman. And you also have to be able to open up opportunities for other women when it comes across, because sometimes when you are the token woman, we get excited about it. Oh, they chose me. But do you want to be the only one fighting for everybody all the time? Sometimes you have to be able to open up opportunities as well to allow other people in. That way, it creates an opportunity, it broadens the gaps so that people don't feel there'll only be one woman head. So once she's got it, then I don't have a chance of getting it. But if people know that there could be 3 women in that room as well, I mean, why are there 10 men and only 1 woman? Why can't there be 5 women in here? Because at some point somebody decided that they would just, and then they would choose to bring 1 woman in, and she feels happy to be part of to be allowed in the club.
Great.
Bring others.
Wow,
so
thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's such a wonderful. I just heard those challenge the status quo. When they speak, challenge them. Very good. So let's get to Afua.
Hi.
Challenges.
Okay,
How
I
you
think
were able to surmount the obstacle.
Yeah, I think I've had a little bit of difference from what other panelists have spoken about, because I grew up as probably like a first generation PhD student in my family. So this is a family where people have accepted that climbing up the academic laurels is just you bagging a lot of degrees whatsoever. But people never saw it as you trying to pursue some passion whatsoever, what you love to do and that interests you. So I've had at every point in my time, had to convince my parents or anyone around me who have just probably not been the highest education they've ever received, it's maybe senior high school, to try and say that you can move from here to here and you fit perfectly into that society. And also I've had to, challenge the status quo of having to settle down right after university, probably, and having to fight the battles of if you move up the academic laurels, you really be able to settle down. I even get it anytime, every time, as we speak, as the narrative is still changing, people still are holding on tightly to that aspect of it, not knowing that it comes with support, like having the right support systems by you. So during all this journey, I've had to, at every point, stand my grounds to what I really want and actually what I really want to pursue. And bagging off or closing my ears typically to all those comments that have had to come my way.
What sort of message were given to you growing up that helped you for you to be able to stand the challenges of marriage without allowing them to pin you for you to enter into marriage? What message did you get?
I always believe that age was just a number, and it's time. When the right time comes, it will happen for you. You don't have to rush into it because everybody's saying it. I always have the problem with when everybody's saying something. I feel like you're trying to push me somewhere or to something that I don't feel ready for at that particular time. And I knew that when I'm ready for it, it's going to come to me, like I'm going to have it, which probably now I should say I'm ready for it. But so I'm not really going to listen to what everybody says and stick to that particular. I've always been, what if? I've always been there. Okay, what if the other side of it? Let me play the devil's advocate on the other side of it, just to give it a try. I've always been good at trying new things and doing new things, not closing my ears to.
Wow, that's great. Age is number. When it's time, I'll get through it. Thank you so much. We move to our next discussion. Madam Olivia. Hi, this will be a challenge, but we'll overcome it. Olivia, yes, your challenges from education to career to marriage and how you were able to overcome it. Hello, is Olivia around?
Hi, Berthy. I think Olivia is not on the call.
Hello.
Oh, she's on the call. Okay.
She's back.
Okay. Sorry.
Hello.
Hi, Olivia. We are here. We can hear you.
Hello, Berthy.
Hello, Olivia. We can
Hello.
hear you. Hello.
Hello, Berthy.
We can hear you. Please talk.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please talk.
That's good. Hello. It has not. No, I didn't hear any question.
Yes,
I
I'm
didn't hear
saying
any
that.
question. So
What has been your challenge through education
could you please
to career?
repeat what you said?
I'm saying that
Hello?
what has been your challenge? What has been your challenge through education to career? Growing up, what were the challenges as a girl and as a woman?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. As a woman, I couldn't have realized it at that tender age. But then growing up to become a science teacher, I think in one of my secondary schools, I was in charge of home economics class. And you know the way sometimes we label them. And then home economics student with science, something they don't normally love to learn. So when I was made a tutor for that class, I said there should be a way out. So I promised myself to assist these ladies to make it and pass the science very well. So I went practical. Throughout my teaching, I ensured that whatever topic that needed practicals to be done is done first before we move even into theory. So I normally took them to the lab. I was among male science teachers, not knowing they never liked what I was doing. So very often I was being insulted. They gave me all sorts of names. Oba Kukonini, we are Yasantua, Wasamia Dendodo. Ever since have you ever seen an unscience student being taken to the lab? Have you ever seen an unscience student being, have they ever done practical science? I said, no, we shouldn't go by that. If non-science students are not given the opportunity to have practical science, that doesn't mean we should deny them of their rights. So I started it. I am a focused person. So no matter the insults they hailed at me, I was never worried. So I went on with the teaching. And lo and behold, at the end of their examination, when the results came, all my students had passed the science. And then majority had the opportunity to enter into nursing, and then they moved higher level. Some went to the university, and I was so proud. And that year, when we celebrated our speech and prize giving day, I had my award. So if I had not stayed focused, if I had not listened to my inner feelings, what I decided to do for them, if I had, listened to them, I never gave up to intimidation, no. When I say I will do it, no, nothing will prevent me. So I think with that spirit, it has really helped me as a teacher.
Keep on losing, Olivia. We'll move on. Okay.
Hello.
We are not losing here. We can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, Madam Olivia, I can hear you.
Yeah, with that spirit,
it's a wonderful.
Yeah, with that spirit, I'm a focused person.
Hello, thank you so much. Olivia, we can hear you.
Thank you. So, what I will encourage.
Much. We keep on losing you. So we'll move to another panelist.
I plan ahead
so much. You keep on losing
in whatever that
so
I do.
we'll go to another panelist.
And I believe in effective collaboration and communication. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah. Berthy, can you hear us?
Welcome. Thank you.
Oh, I think your side. Okay. Hi, Berthy.
It's a wonderful experience. Yes, we can hear you. And I hope everybody, okay, please, can you all hear me?
We can hear
yes,
you
we
now.
can.
Hello?
Olivia was fine.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
We can hear you now. Okay, I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Hello, Berthy.
So let's
okay.
We are quickly going into those discussions. I think Madam Olivia touched a little portion of it. Our experience, we want to know some of the misconceptions that people have towards women in STEM. I think Madam Olivia, a little portion of it. So I'm just giving you all an equal platform for you to share your experience. What are some of the misconceptions that people have about women in STEM? So we'll start from Rabbi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Berthy, thank you.
Hello?
Okay.
Wow. Hello?
Berthy, we can hear you. Berthy, we can hear you. It went in and out, but I got your question.
She left.
She's left.
Yeah.
Well, I shall answer.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I am not directly in STEM, okay, but I do promote STEM education for children through the organization I currently work for and with, and in life in general. I also am a firm advocate for STEM education. I believe that it helps us all to be. It grows the child. It grows the child directly and gives a real opportunity for the children to participate in a wider sphere than they would otherwise maybe would be open to them. So I'm very, Louise, that's your name, right? Louise, I was very interested in hearing about what you're doing and your field of work. And I must admit that I understood very little about what you're actually doing, but I was very, very impressed. I was very impressed indeed. I think the challenge with encouraging girls to go into STEM is that it's seen as, there's certain areas within STEM that are seen as not, are seen as very difficult and seen as difficult for children for girls particularly to progress in. So anything that has to do with physics and maths in particular can be particularly hard for children to progress in. But it's the same as for any subject really. They just need encouragement. They need to know that if your real calling is in there and if you feel that you have the chance to be successful in it, you can be if you pursue it with dedication and if they get the support that they needed. So it's important that we expose all children to all levels so that we, as a nation also, we don't lose out on the talent that is available there. Because otherwise we are only addressing half the nation if you just focus just on the boys. And that is that would be a great loss. It will not help to prop up and to build Ghana in the manner in which we need it to be. It will not help to erect the nation as we would like it to be. So we need to focus on all the children, and that means girls and boys. So do we have Berthy? If not, perhaps Nanama, you can go ahead and answer the question as well. I'll do a bit of moderation while she's not here. She's not available.
Yes, you do have me.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Berthy,
Yes,
Yes,
we can.
Yes, we hear you now.
Yes, so we'll go to Alma, as you rightly said, some misconceptions about girls in STEM and how we can help them.
I think STEM is one
So
of those
it's the
things.
turn of Alma.
So I think STEM is one of those things that has always been considered as difficult for women for some reason, and I don't actually understand why. Because I think earlier on when we start school, we are all on the same path. We are all going through the same primary, all going to the same JSS. I studied general science in Gehe, and when I had my other classmates, and then I went to study computer science in college, and then I went into technology. So it's one of those things that was actually encouraged throughout my career. Actually, my dad chose computer science for me, and then I kind of merged some business and some math in them for myself because those were the things that I was more comfortable with. And then I've kind of built a career along different areas of business and science and technology and science at the same time. I think what's actually the misconception is that it's hard. The misconception is that there's a lot of men there and you don't want to be the one girl in the room. There's because every time, and I think that usually starts when we get into the universities. I think earlier on it's easy. We all doing it. The girls are winning the science awards, they are winning that, but they are doing it at JSS and SS. But once they leave and go into the universities where they have to actually specialize, then they are, pushed into the softer areas of, marketing and sales and customer service. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but because I think sometimes too, because it's thought to us, okay, well, if you do science or if you do medicine, then you have to go to school for another 5 more years when you are done from college. You have to do another PhD and you have to do, so there's all these things that you have to get married and you have to have children and you have to, when are you going to do that if you're going to go to all this school? But so it's like, okay, go to some school and you become a price and then somebody will marry you and then, you'll be fine. But I think, we can do both. We are women and we are very resilient. We've been able to handle a lot of things that have been thrown at us throughout life. So I don't know why at any point in time we've been made to believe we have to go the easier path. And I don't think that's ever served us any way. And I think that's actually what has discouraged us from being, in certain places when the opportunity came, because by then we would have changed routes and taken the easier path. Because even in my company, I actually intentionally try to hire women for engineering roles, and it's harder to do because you put out a job, and you get maybe out of 100 people, there's 3 women and 97 men. So you're like, okay, the 3 women are also like, well, I did it because my dad asked me to, and then I don't know what to do with it, and I haven't done anything with it since. So now it's
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry for cutting you. We have a lot of questions. And this is really serious.
I see it all the time. But yes.
Thank you so much. Louis, just add one to it and then we'll go.
Wow. One, I think that I've had to journey a lot through the STEM. So there's a lot of misconceptions I've had to meet at every point.
Yeah.
That I would have loved to share, but like if you say one,
okay,
I think
just share 3.
Okay, I'll be very quick.
3 sentences.
Yeah, because they'll be intertwined. So I'll be very quick about it. I think what the first time I opted to do engineering, the first thing I was asked is that would I be a fitter? So you see, there has been a narrative growing up where engineering has been related to mechanical, where the various channels or different paths of engineering has not been educated much about. Now, the old traditional way of engineering was mechanical or civil. Either you're building a roof or you're repairing a car. But now engineering has moved from the hardcore practical side of having to fix to what your brains can do. So I think more education into going that could help channel the fact that you do not always have to lift the heavy metal. You can simulate that metal and it will not be lifted. And that's where robotics comes in, as Madame Olivia has spoken about. So in all the journey, a lot of misconceptions, just like Nanama also said, has been the path being so long that a woman has an age capping based on a cultural perspective. You have an age capping where you need to settle down. So if you want to go up and above the laurels, it will mean that the long time and you'll be outmoded by that age. So because of that, I've had a lot of ladies who I've had to talk to who think that after the age of 25, they are not marriage materials. So they have to settle for where they want to be. But, you know, it's quite funny having to talk to you that you can still merge family and career. But people have had to see the fact that you cannot do both of it. So the question comes in on a subtle note. They ask that, oh, we hear you're married. You're going to get pregnant. How would that affect your work?
Okay, so you can still merge marriage and career.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Sorry for cutting you. Thank you so much, because we have a lot of questions to answer.
I understand.
Yes. So as we are going on, I just want my listeners the audience to also know that we are still on Women International Day, having strong 4 women as our panelists, all coming from different backgrounds of education and on the field of industry. They are sharing their experiences with us, and I believe that we are going to take clue and be able to support the young generation and even ourselves. And so we'll move on to the next segment of our discussion, where we want to know the various women leaders that you've looked up to growing up. The various women you look up to growing up, how they were able to influence you, who they are, where they are, and the impact they had on your life. So just in short sentences, kindly give us this information. Starting from Nanama.
Okay, so I'll make this. Actually, the first woman that I paid attention to that inspired me was actually Martha Stewart, which was actually really out of the box. And part of the reason that was because she had actually built an empire out of something that we take for granted here and we almost call home science. So you would see her on TV and she'd be talking about how to lay your bed and make bed sheets and cook and do various things. But she had built a whole empire out of it, which was actually a publicly traded company. And so there was something about that because growing up, my mom was a home science teacher at a high school. It was just one of those things that she got into because she wanted to become a doctor and similar things. It was too long, so they kind of pushed her towards doing something that was easier. But she always was something that she always wanted to get out of. So just seeing that somebody's been able to do something like that with that actually empowered me, because it actually allowed me to understand that no matter which path that you choose as a woman, it doesn't get stuck or it doesn't get leveled at a point as, okay, you just do one thing, and if it's home science, then you always become a caterer. You can actually build an empire out of that. If it's cosmetics, people look at anything, oh, cosmetics, that just makes it better.
Nanama is so interesting. Thank you. Let me go to Rava.
Okay.
Preba.
Wow,
Preba. Sorry, Betty. My name is Preba.
Let's snappy so that we can all have Preba.
Right. So Preba, the lady who inspired me, Preba.
Okay.
The lady the woman who inspired me, I would say, is the teacher I had when I was 11. And she was a real inspiration. She was a phenomenal woman who was quite famous in her time, famous beyond her classroom, I would say, in being the kind of person who achieved results with any child. And she was a firm believer in each and every child. She believed that every child could achieve, given the right opportunity. She didn't differentiate between the girls and the boys. And she was a phenomenal teacher. And I think that we all deserve to have, and I'm sure we all have had at least one teacher like that in our lives. And I think having a teacher like that can be the catalyst actually that changes a life at the right moment as well. So this is a shout out to all the phenomenal women teachers out there who are doing wonderful things, who are seen, very often not seen in the light that they should be, seen as doing a job that is not very highly recognized or praised, but is so essential if we are to develop the country and develop our people as we need to. Yeah. And her name was Mrs. Jones.
Thank you so much. So Olivia. So we'll go to Olivia.
Hello, Betty. Hello, Betty.
Hello. Yes, any female leader who has inspired you, how did the person impacted your life?
Yeah. I have Mrs. Sofa Awotre, former Director of Science Education. This woman picked me as a young science teacher whilst I was teaching at Mofretro Girls Boarding. Straight from college, I was posted to Mofretro Girls Boarding. Started with gusts as a young teacher. She really inspired me so much. She took me around for most of her meetings. She gave me a lot of exposure. She was the very person who took me to KNUST for a meeting, my first meeting with doctors and professors. After the meeting, I went somewhere and then I went to hide somewhere and then I wept. It was just tears of joy for at least moving with her and for giving me that exposure to move higher so far as education is concerned. Anytime I went to her, she readily assisted me, whether advice, practical experience. In fact, she's very, very knowledgeable and highly approachable. So at a point, when I was a coordinator in one of the districts, I visited her when she was the Director of Science Education, and she said, Olivia, because of your hard work, I know one day you will surely come and occupy this my seat. I said, hey, Ma, I'm too young for this seat. And she said, the time will come. And truly, to her sayings, it has actually materialized. Now, she's always happy to see me in that seat.
Wow.
So I love this woman and I still love her. Even when I became the national coordinator, science coordinator at the national headquarters, I needed some advice. She said, Olivia, over here, nobody will teach you anything. We have a lot of files. Anytime you come to work, just come through, flip through and read. Everything is hidden there and you learn through reading. And ever since she said that, I've been doing this up to date. So this is the woman who has actually inspired me, and she's still, I still take her as a source of inspiration.
Inspiring you.
Yeah, she's inspiring.
Thank you
so much.
So much, Olivia.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this presentation.
You're welcome.
I'm now hearing that our stories are becoming very interesting. So to give you to go through, it looks as if questions some of you too, but we need to keep time. So I'm sorry, the audience that we are so on National Day for Women, and we want to see how best we can empower our young ladies to climb the ladder we have and be able to impact, be able to be on top of whatever that they want to be. Moving on to our next questions, we just want to know how does the COVID-19 impact each of you, your lives, and the industry works of this COVID-19, and then what you have learned about it. So let's quickly go through one after the other. Just as I started today, I'll start with Lois this time around.
Okay.
Lois, so you will tell us how the COVID-19 has impacted your industry.
Okay, just to answer the first question, I think growing up, I've not had anyone to look up to, like a woman who has happened to be an engineer and in Ghana, because I think the projection or the representation was low when I was growing up. It's now that things are sprouting out and we are projecting all the women that have happened to be engineers, and like we can see them currently. So I think that's one of the areas we really need to touch on as National Society of Black Engineers, projection
Very good.
and representation of these women. I think in the COVID-19 world, one of the things I've experienced greatly is a loss in my lab work. So a lot of things have gone virtual, and a lot of even you realize that you can operate a whole instrument, which I'm operating now, from home. So there's a virtual space where lab experiments could be done from home by you clicking. And I think to be able to synchronize all laboratories in senior high schools, we can have a virtual space where simple experiments we do in chemistry could be analyzed virtually from a particular point. And I think that that's one of the things that wowed me. And I think that it sprouted my thinking a lot. Yeah.
Not finished, continue. We are hearing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so having
questions, you've not finished my questions. So
okay.
You have spoken about the negative part of it. We want to see how positive has COVID-19 impacted your life.
Well,
is there any positive side of COVID-19 to you?
Yeah, I think maybe the positive side is having to be that we can all be at different places and still have organized meetings that are productive and collaborative. And that has taught us that we can extend our reach irrespective of where we are and make the world a global place as much as possible. So let's take advantage of what COVID-19 has brought and help do projects that will extend far and wide beyond our reach as much as possible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anama.
I think for me, what COVID was able to do, I think just as Louise was able to, is it Louise or Lois?
Lois.
Lois said, as Lois said,
Lois.
Yes, it's Lois. Lois said earlier, was that it allowed you to be able to open up and see and look beyond where you are. I think one mistake we make a lot, especially being in Ghana, is we kind of like to think that the world that we have in Ghana revolves around us, and what we are seeing is all there is. And I think that what the internet has allowed us to be able to do is to be able to reach far and wide in different places across the world with people doing similar things in various ways. So what COVID and all of that, I think, allowed us to do was to realize that allowed people to reach us who are looking for different things. So it's like people's people started to think through what they were doing a little bit differently. So people's choices of the things they eat, the things they do, the activities they do, the people they interact with, all of that changed because they had to do a lot of things online. So now they're not able to touch people directly. So they now, everybody that they reach, they have to be able to, let me put this way. So they're not able to touch people directly. So the indirect, because the relationships are so far and wide, people are now thinking about, okay, this one thing I'm going to do, how important is it? How influential will it be? What will be the impact? How many people will it affect? So even in their choices in things like skincare, as we are seeing, we're actually able to get a wider reach of customers from our work, because now we have people from all over the world who are not just choosing their cream just because it's the one that's closest to their house. It's because they are looking at, okay, what's the impact? When I buy from Naya, I'm able to influence people in Africa. Meanwhile, they are in Italy. And when I engage with different brands, okay, I'm able to learn about their culture, the people. I'm able to influence other people's lives by being a part of it. So even though everything has gone online, I think it also brought the world closer. So I think the opportunity we have as people, as Ghanaians, and also is that we should be able to learn from that and use that to our advantage, and not be caught up in this is all we know, and keep to our little boxes. Because sometimes you're trying to even explain something to someone and they think, I don't know, because you've traveled outside, you think, okay, that is what is working in Ghana. But the world is literally all closing in. So it's not about traveling outside. You can be anywhere now and still be able to reach out to people in India, in Pakistan, in China, in Japan, in Asia, and still be able to learn so much about people and things and use all of that to your advantage. So even though as much as we think of it as it has been a bad thing, I think it also has had this positive impact of being able to bring the world together, to extend our learning. As Olivia said earlier, that if you can read, then you can learn. There's so much information out there.
Yes.
Let's not limit Instagram to the pictures. Let's also use let's use Google. Let's read people's information. Let's research. Let's learn. Let's get into things that are outside of our comfort zone, and that's how we can use this time where we are indoors and all the extra time we have from not driving around in the traffic to use to our advantage to read more and learn more and to be part of this global world that is actually changing. Thank you.
Use your Instagram for something better, not for pictures. Preba, to you. Have I been able to mention the name very well?
Yes, you have. Thank you so much, Berthy. I know it's challenging. Okay. So in addition to what both Lois and Nanaya have said, which I think are two wonderful points, there are two things I think that COVID-19 has done for us or could do for us, and that I think that we really need to take advantage of. The first is the soft touch in the sense that I think we've all begun to realize how important our relationships, our human relationships are. And it's important that we don't lose sight of that as we move forward, So cherish those relationships, be conscious and be purposeful on how you cherish those relationships and what you do around making those relationships better, okay? And the second thing, which is which COVID-19 has done and should be doing for us, and it's one really is in the field of science. It has shown us the power of and the importance of innovation, okay? And I think that is, in a way, some part of what Nanaya you were trying to say, but just taking it a little further and saying that this is innovation in terms of, we've seen how important science is in terms of innovating for us for better, to go forward in terms of not just, in terms of even managing the pandemic itself with the vaccines and everything that's going on around that. And in terms of the care that we've been receiving from our medical staff. But also innovation in the way that we do things. It is very clear that those who are going to succeed coming out of the pandemic are those who are able to, as they say, build back better. Okay, so when you're building back, you're thinking not just of building back to the position of where I was, or I just want the pandemic to stop and go away so I can be where I was. But you're actually thinking, how can I actually, what do I see as an innovative way to build back on what I'm doing so that it's better? And this is where really the science training that scientists get really does help, but it's still something that is also open to all, whether or not you've had the specific science training. The ability to think around the problem and approach it from a different perspective is so crucial. And that is what really the pandemic has really done for us. So I don't think it should be seen as a negative thing, as you're saying, Nanaya. It's something that really has given us the opportunity to do what we would call in the fast-moving consumer goods market, is stop and think. The ability to, the world has had to stop and think. Now the question is, how do we build back better?
Great. So it's all about human relation and innovation. Olivia, the impact of COVID-19 on your work.
No.
Yes. The impact of COVID-19 on your
COVID-19, I would say should have received. Yeah, I'm saying that COVID-19 is the best teacher. COVID-19 is the best teacher. Why am I saying this? In fact, during our Best Teacher Award, Ghana's Best Teacher Award, we should have given COVID-19 an award. This is simply because it has taught me as an individual to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Through COVID-19, educationally, our curriculum, all the core competencies that we have listed, we are now achieving them. Now, majority of our students are now highly innovative.
And I believe, Betty, you know what I'm talking about. You are a regional coordinator. And you know when this COVID-19 came, the way our students, they were able to produce automatic hand washing machines. The way they were able to produce hand sanitizers, let alone face masks. They were some of the schools, when we went on monitoring, when we went on COVID-19 monitoring, majority of our senior high schools, they are using their cloth to sew face masks, which is highly cost effective. So you see that all our core competencies, we are now achieving them. Now our students are thinking outside the box. They have become very creative. They are really collaborating with each other. So collaboration, communication, we have achieved. And now they are now highly critical thinkers, and they've become highly innovative. So you see, and when it comes to Ghana Education Service, on the very onset, management met. How do we support our learners so that they would not decay mentally? Then a number of us, including some team from science, teaching material, very remote learning. So we started with this television program on Ghana learning. And even though I was a facilitator, but through COVID-19, my first appearance at the studio, you can do it. So I had the exposure. And now, at least everybody sees me on air. Anytime you are there, then people will call you, Madam, I've seen you are teaching this, then I'll become swollen-headed. You see, now I'm popular because of COVID-19. I'm very, but even Betty, last week you called me that your children were watching me and they were so happy. True or false? You called me and I was also happy. At least I am making an impact on society. And then apart from here, I in Kenya and in South Africa, I had the opportunity to share with them how we have used intervention, to solve this problem. And now, through what Ghanaians we have initiated, other countries, especially I can talk of Kenya, that is Samastia, where we have our Africa Center for Science and Mathematics. And then in South Africa, I belong to Carlos Juna Executive Dialogue, where I'm a focal person in Ghana. And we have shared experience with them and they are using it. So for COVID-19, personally, it's a thing which we all don't like. We pray that through COVID-19, we will maintain this personal hygiene by washing our hands severally to avoid more spread of the disease. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olivia. COVID-19
has
made Madam Olivia popular. That is one aspect of it. So now we can all be on Zoom anywhere, anytime. You can be here and join Zoom in Canada and everywhere. We thank you so much. In Ghana, we don't want to compare ourselves to the world. In Ghana, we have few representation of women in leadership. And so each and every one over here, my panelists, you are going to tell me how we can close the gap. How can we close this gap? Starting from Madam Olivia.
Hello, Betty. Hello, Betty.
Hello. Yes, I'm saying that when you come to Ghana, we have low representation of women in leadership. And so we want all the panelists to just pick one. How can we bridge the gap? in your various industries?
How?
Your area of work.
Okay. How is one, encouragement, motivation.
Okay.
You see, when you are a motivator, you always put smart. If you are the type who always will discourage, a typical example, because I'm in the classroom, let me use the classroom situation. If you are a teacher, you should be approachable. You should be a teacher who should be an encourager or a motivator. The moment you go to the classroom, you have not even started teaching, then you begin to scare these learners. As for science or mathematics, it is not for the stupid. If you are stupid, you understand science. Mathematics is this. So right from the word go, you have discouraged your students. And there is no way their interest will be sustained throughout your lesson. So we need encouragement in all our fields, whether you are a leader, wherever you are, motivate your workers, motivate your staff, motivate your students. Even when they are not doing well, tell them, give them comments, not great. Give them comment, try again, it will be well. You see, try till you attain perfection.
Thank you.
So that is the word.
Thank
motivation.
you, Olivia.
Thank
so
you.
The word is
You're
encouragement and motivation. Preba.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. So, you know, I could say something that would pass, but especially as this today's, the challenge is choose to challenge. I'm going to say what I really think. And I know it's not going to be a popular thing that I'm going to say, okay? But I would like all of us to really take it away and think about what I'm actually going to say, okay? If we are really to encourage more participation of women leadership in Ghana, right? We need to, we need to challenge the notion that comes from a lot of our religions, our two basic religions in this country. That's both the Muslim religion and the Christian religion, about the role of the woman in society. Because both of them say very clearly that the woman's place is secondary, right, to the male place. As long as that prevails, no matter what else we do, we will always be seen as it being, we've been given a token recognition. It's not, we will not be a place that is ours by right, and it's normal and as it should be, because we are 50% of the population, but it will be a place that is being given to us, be a place that the males in the society have allowed us to occupy, a space that they allow us to occupy. So long as religion says that the woman is secondary to the male, right, the female is secondary to the male, and so long as we hold that as a truth, right, we will always struggle with women in leadership in this country. That's my view. So that's my view, and that's my challenges. How do we challenge that? Okay, it doesn't mean we are negating the role of religion in our society, but we must challenge the constructs within those religions that hold us back. Okay.
Okay, that's great. Yes, Lois.
Yeah, I think Preba is just taking the words out of my mouth like that. Yeah, because I had the construct that we are from a patriarchal society where culture and religion has based that perspective on what a submissive woman should be. And so it's not giving the ability to a woman to be able to come out fully. It's a marginalized society where there needs to be constructive strategies that need to project women and how they are doing well in their respective societies. If not, those are fundamentals. Like having a foundation of a building, okay, and your foundation is weak, obviously the main building is going to come crashing down. So those foundations need to be settled. It comes from the little conversations we have as women here to be able to project us. As for women in leadership, I've seen a lot of, there was a recent report that stated that a lot of women happen to be entrepreneurship in Ghana. That means that there are a lot of women that are starting their own thing. Now, how do we sustain this entrepreneurship, and how do we sustain this leadership position for them to find a voice and be more prevalent in that condition? If the foundation is weak, we will have this conversation. Some years to come, we are going to have another dimension of this same conversation, trying to find the position of women, trying to bargain. We are not saying that we are trying to disempower men. We are just saying that we are just coming to a certain probability where it's 50-50, where a marginalized society have had to be have some equity strategies to bring us all apart. When the total, which is the total percentage is high, obviously the percentage will be higher, and we can all both share an equal seat on the table. That's all we are saying.
That is great. Equal seat on the table. Nanaya.
For me, I think for starters, we just need to, I would say men first need to know that women, we are not a threat. We are actually, we are partners in all of this development, in growth, in being part, in helping grow businesses, in helping become part of society. So giving us opportunity and allowing us to sit at the table with you doesn't take anything from the table. It actually empowers the table. It actually brings other views. It actually allows more opportunities for other people as well. And also opens up, it grows the pie. It doesn't reduce the pie that we all have to fight. We are all not fighting for the same pie. Also, when women are in a room and you see when things happen, we have to learn to speak up. We've gotten so used to, this is not my place. Oh, they will, what do you call it? That would seem disrespectful. That will seem, what do you call it? So we have allowed the jokes about our bodies, the things about our harassment and all those things to get out, to go away so unnoticed that it's almost become commonplace, even though we are uncomfortable. So we are literally taking ourselves out of places instead of actually standing there to say, this is not okay, so that shouldn't be there. So when the environment gets toxic, we literally leave. And men have gotten so comfortable with doing that, that we are taking ourselves out of place, and we're starting our own small businesses. But these small businesses also don't get the support, don't get the growth, don't get what is necessary to be able to become the type of businesses that even our own men would see and respect. So then we get put in these small boxes. So we need to allow ourselves to also speak up when we are in places and things are getting said that we don't understand. When we have opportunities to grow things, let's also bring other people in. Let's speak up. Let's speak against things that don't support us. And let's help each other become strong people, because we all have those personality issues. We all have self-confidence issues that we deal with on day-by-day basis. Even men deal with it. And then women also deal with it more when we are in spaces that we are not comfortable. So we have to be able to create safe spaces for ourselves, safe spaces within our communities, safe spaces within our companies, within our organizations that allow women to thrive. And that is the only way that we'll be able to get both men and women to be able to grow in, to be able to stand apart. And maybe we'll do better, because we're already beating them in school anyway. So what's to say, maybe that's what their fear is. So, but if that's the whole thing, then, we may not be equal. We may actually be the ones that fighting for equality from at a point. But we'll take it one day at a time at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nanaya. So we are meeting them in the classroom, so we can do. This is going to end our session for this time, and I believe each and everyone has enjoyed it. Before we let them go, we just want to put direct question to you individually. In your industry, what do you think you can do to bridge the gap? You yourself, as a person in your industry, as a woman in leadership. Yes, now that everybody have thought about it, let me quickly go to Lois.
Okay. Yeah, so if I get the opportunity to talk to any female that always has doubts as to whether to go to engineering, the first thing I do is to show them a pool of engineers who are females. And not to say I'm a woman scientist. I want to say that I'm a scientist who gets the work done. I'm an engineer who gets the work done, not because I'm a woman. So there are pools and streams of engineers, women who are doing amazingly phenomenal in engineering field. If you still go through that, and I present to you my challenges, my mistakes, my failures, just as they are, and show you can still prevail if you go through all these challenges, if you go through all these mistakes. If you fail, just get up, walk. If you have to crawl, just get to the finish line if you have to. So if I get a chance to talk to any young person, I'm a young person below the age of 30, finishing a PhD. It hasn't been easy, but it doesn't show that it's not possible, and it can't be possible. So use me as a benchmark, and just probably you have more talent than I do. The younger generation are almost having greater talent, and they can do marvelous things in the industry. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Thank you.
As for you,
Thank you,
Lois.
Olivia. Today, I'm swallowing the bitter pill, but I have to swallow. Olivia, we are waiting on you. Okay, so whilst we are waiting for Olivia, we'll get to
Hello,
Preba.
Berthy.
Hello. Please let me use the name that we used to call her so that I'll feel comfortable for once. Mama Olivia. Yes.
Hello, Berthy.
Hello, Mama. We are hearing you. We can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, Mama Olivia.
Okay, thank you.
Hear you.
Hello, Berthy. Yeah, like I said, I love female in science. In fact, especially somebody mentioned Adom Young. She believes in the foundation, and I share that with her. One of the panelists said it. I also believe in foundation. So even at the center, we have started from upper primary. We invite upper primary learners, and then we build them up. And the reason being that if you can make a very good decision about your future, it is at JHS level. Whether you opt for science or business or any other, the decision is taken from JHS, not at SHS. Because at JHS, you might have taken your decision to opt for any program of your interest or choice. So that is where our concentration should be. So as a director of science education, which includes technology and mathematics, I'll always encourage my younger ones, especially the girl child, to love science. So how am I promoting that? We go to schools, we support them. We have encouraged all regional and district coordinators to do same. When they go for clinical monitoring, they should go and assist. We have also trained teachers to give support. At the school level, we ensure that district teacher support team, they also work very hard to ensure effective teaching and learning. So we at the national, we do our part, and going down, we ensure that they give us reports and then videos of all that they have been doing to use it as check. Now, personally, I lobby a lot. Recently, we had Ghana Science Olympiad, and among the students who taught, one female known as, she's at Kumasi, one of Armed Forces School. She was within the first, I think, third, so she won.
We gave her a very presentable award. Now this girl, I was asked to nominate girls to undertake online program in AAAI. I've nominated her and she's so happy. This program is being organized by UNESCO, but it is an international program. So you see, we try to encourage girls to be part of some of these trainings so that in future, they can also serve as mentors to others. So we encourage them personally. All the ladies who want to offer science at SHS, I try and then lobby for them so that they give them science programs. So my interest is girl child, and I've done a lot for most of the people, and they are so happy, and I'm also happy that majority of the girls I've come into contact with, their interest is in science. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Encouraging and lobbying.
You're welcome.
Lobbying. That is the word.
Yeah,
lobbying.
I lobby a lot.
Yes. So we'll go to our last panelist on this question. Yes. Preba, I think you are the one who has not spoken.
Oh, I see. I wasn't going to ask this. So I would say a couple of things. So personally, in the organization I'm in right now, I have chosen to focus on the young ones because, as Madam Olivia has said, it's important to give the children the option, you know, because if you catch them later, they might have the interest but not have the ability because they have not formed the base in order to take it forward. So it's important to give them the option to move forward. And then I think encouragement, which I think one of the other panelists spoke about, it's important and also for them to see the possibility of what is possible, because unless they see it themselves, that's why I think Lois is such an inspiration, because they can see you are visible, you are a physical, visible person of what you can do if you take it forward. And that accounts for so much. Personally, I think it's given the opportunities through the programs that I have been driving, and then also the encouragement a constant encouragement that we can give to also to all those that we meet, particularly the young children. The last point I would like to mention is about, for me, it's always about the challenging and speaking truth. And Nanama, you mentioned it before, when you are in the room, when it's said and you know it's wrong, right? Speaking up about it all the time. And I think I've got to the point, when you get to a certain age and you've got a certain place in your career, you have the ability to do so. And it's almost like a responsibility that we have to speak the truth all the time, whenever we can. Don't let it pass ever, because then it becomes a larger, it takes a larger persona of its own, and it becomes perpetuated by those who actually believe it, because nobody challenged it when it was actually said. So to speak it and say, to make it clear that yes, girls can do maths, girls can do science. There's no reason why this program shouldn't be open to girls, and we shouldn't concentrate on girls. And what's wrong with an all-girls team? Nothing, and why don't we have more girls in leadership or women in leadership and all that, speaking to the truth of it all the time, every time that it comes. It's so important.
Thank you so much. In fact, before I summarize all that they said, I want each and everyone to unmute yourself and give them a very loud applause. They have really done well. Please, let's all do it.
Okay.
These are people so muted. Please unmute yourself. Wow. It was such a great presentation. You know, I always go for programs. By the time you'll be ending, almost all the people might have left. But this one, we have been able to keep our number constant. This means that our panelists have really done well. I just want to summarize all that they said. In fact, we have a lot. They really said a lot. And I'm going to Preba, who said absence of restriction helped her to move to where she has been to. And then Lois was also talking about conquering that word marriage, because it is that is pinning a lot of ladies in moving forward. We also have the impact of COVID-19 on us, and all that we are saying is about human relation and innovation, human relation and innovation. And Auntie Olivia keeps on saying encouragement and motivation. You could see that in all her speeches, in all her presentation, she was hammering on encouragement and motivation. And she ended up by saying lobbying for the girls. Let's lobby for ourselves so that we'll be able to have a lot of women representation in the various areas. And above all, we need to speak up. We have to catch them young. We have to have the foundation right. We have to have the foundation right. And so from all that they said, this is what we can say. Bravo, you've done well. I will leave the rest to my MC. Thank you.
Just before we end,
okay.
just before we end, so sorry. There was a very vivid statement during this time of, and I wanted to share that who is actually preparing the men for the women we are empowering tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's a great question for discussion. I mean, the women who is preparing the men? Is there, do they have to feel disempowered? Do they have to feel like we are coming at them like a fight or something? I think there's something we need to trash out so that we both know where we all stand. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My MC, I hand over to you.
Hi, Berthy. Thank you so much for the moderation of this discussion. So, Lois, so this question, do you want one of our attendees to maybe give their thoughts on it, or?
Yeah, maybe Mrs. Preba, Nanama, maybe.
Oh,
so that, you know.
Okay, so
there was a question in the chat box that made me remember that particular one. So
yes, yeah. I think I saw that question. He was saying that what are we men supposed to Hi, what advice do you have for men that are looking to settle down with STEM ladies? Okay, so please, does anybody have any thoughts on this question?
So I have.
Can I have the opportunity to also talk?
Okay, the moderator wants to also answer a question.
Go ahead, Berthy.
Yeah, Berthy.
Yes, I think this is a very, very interesting. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is an interesting area that we all need to consider because we are empowering the girls. And who are going to marry the men who have not been empowered?
Yeah.
So what would they, let's go along with them as we do one. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So as we do programs for women
Auntie.
or girls, we should have representation. Can I go on?
Yes, basically you can go on.
Can I go on?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, so what I'm saying is that the only way we can also empower the men to go and marry men, to not go and marry men who can stand to the task as being a head family. We need to move them alongside us. As we empower the girls, any program that we do for the girls, we all let them go power with them. They still have their position as the head of the family, but they should give us the opportunity to operate. They are still leaders in the industry, but we are also asking for opportunities. And so, one, we are not to intimidate them. We are not to give messages that always put them down or let them feel as if they are relegated to the background. And we should also be empowerment so that they can also be empowered. But when they come, we shouldn't intimidate them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Berthy. And Preba, I wanted to also add something.
I do very much want to add to what Berthy has said, because I think there are a couple of things. I think first of all, I really think that, especially this is International Women's Day, and I just spoke about always speaking it as it is, right? So I'm going to say this. You know, we are not here to ask anyone, you know, this is not about us, sorry, this is not about us, this is not about us asking permission from anyone to, I know that Nama is laughing because she said, we're not asking permission from anyone to be who we are. We are who we are. And actually exactly, so this is not about, I honestly do not believe that anybody is the head of my household except for me, right?
Yeah.
That I am, but I do not believe that I necessarily also to use that to lord it over anybody else who I'm in a household with, right? This is about doing things together. It's about the partnership that is it. And in order to appreciate this, I will take us back to the fundamental Christian principle, which is do unto others as you would wish to be done unto yourself. It doesn't say do unto men as you would wish to be done unto yourself, or do unto women as you would wish to be done unto women. It says do unto others as you wish to be done unto yourself. Others includes all peoples, which means you treat everyone the same, with the same respect, with the same outlook, with the same recognition of what they can and cannot be. And that's what it means. So fundamentally, that's what it means. For me, that's what I take out of it, you know. So do unto that. That means that nobody, this is not about disempowering men. And so when people talk about men feeling disempowered, I don't understand that. All I would say is that they feel disempowered because they have privilege, which they are holding on to. And it's a natural human thing. When you have privilege, to want to hold on to it. So if you really, as a man, want to be able to feel that you are managing within the new world order, that is here. I'm not saying it's coming, it's here, you know. If you want to, I would say, let go of your privilege. Sit back and see how that improves your life, right? Do unto others as you wish to be done unto yourself. And you'll see that your world will change for the better.
Wow. Thank you so much, Preba. Thank you so much. So at this juncture, I'll just hand over to Mariam to take over from me. Yeah, Mariam, you can take over. Hi, Mariam. Mariam. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. So you can take over. Yeah.
First of all, we would like to thank God Almighty for a successful program, and a special appreciation to our moderator, Mrs. Berthy Adom, and our panelists, Madam Preba Arkaah, Madam Lois Afua Damptey, Madam Olivia Opare, and Madam Nanaya Yanka, for taking time off their busy schedule to celebrate today's Women's Day with us and enlighten us on certain key areas in achieving an equal world in this COVID-19 era. To our wonderful audience, thank you for participating in today's Women's Day program. We hope to host you in our subsequent programs. Thank you to our NSBE National Executive, Mr. Stephen Yandi and Mr. Ferdinand, for organizing this educational program. Please, we have some few announcements for NSBE members and all participants. And the NSBE Ghana and the moderator, Madam Mrs. Berthy Adom, have organized a program on International Day for Women and Girls in Science. And they've been doing it for the past few years and are looking for sponsorship and people to partner with to make to scale up this year's program and give it an all year round impact. Also, our next program will be the NSBE Professional Speakers Series, which will be on Sunday, 14th March 2021 at 4 p.m. GMT. And it will be on the topic data protection and how it matters. And please, if you are not an NSBE member and you'd like to register, kindly check the link in the chat session and in the Zoom chat session and try to apply to become a member.
Okay, Mariam, thank you so much. So at this point, I would want us to come to an end. Looks like nobody has any questions anymore. So I just want to thank our panelists, I want to thank our moderator, and also want to thank our attendees for gracing this program. So at this juncture, like I said earlier, if you want to network with anybody here, you can drop your names, or you can also privately message any one of the attendees to at least network on LinkedIn or any other thing. So
Hello.
Miss Preba, Nanama, Afua, and Auntie Olivia. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I mean, I've learned a lot. One thing I know is that I'm going to challenge the status quo. You know, we should choose to challenge the status quo, and we should let women be. We shouldn't try to define. We should just let women be. So that is one key takeaway for me. So if anybody has anything more to say, I'll just give a minute, then we just have to close.
Hello, good
Somebody said, thank you for thanking me. Thank you for thanking me. I'm also grateful. Yeah,
yes.
Somebody said it. Thank you for thanking me. I'm also humbled to be part of that program.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's all go knowing that we can excel in whatever space we find ourselves in. The sky, maybe it's not the limit, we can go higher. Okay. So yeah. Sure, Nanama.
I want to say one final thing. I think women, one last thing I'll say, stop asking for permission so much. Stop apologizing. I think those are things that we do too much. And that has actually, it's almost like we feel like we are begging to be accepted. We have to stop asking for permission. Do it if you feel like, if you believe in it, take hold and stop apologizing for everything that you do. Everybody makes mistakes, and just take on the reins and go as far as you can. I mean, don't let anybody stop you, because you can go as far as you believe in yourself.
Okay. Is anyone speaking, or we are all okay?
I'm going with Preba. Make sure that the rice is cooked. If you're not able to cook it, then it's your own problem.
I wanted to say good afternoon to everyone. This is Angelina Edwards from New York, Region 1 Chair for NSBE. And I have truly enjoyed this program. Great to see so many people on and engaged. Know that you're struggling. Ghana is the same in the US. And so we share that experience, but the talent is overwhelming on the call from the speakers, as well as I'm sure from everyone else who joined. And I just wanted to let you know I was here supporting, listening, kind of double tasking with work, but it has been a great program, and I'm so glad that I joined. I asked Stephen to share the video so that we can also share with the members here on the US side as well, and have more people enjoy this program. So keep up the great work that you guys are doing in Ghana. Hopefully we'll see some of you on our virtual national convention coming up. And in the meantime, we will continue to fellowship with one another in these means of Zoom, which has really given us a great opportunity to see the good work that everyone else is doing. And so also we'll be showcasing this in our upcoming newsletter. This is a great program and a great way to kick off Women's History Month. So I salute everyone and all those who organized and participated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Angelina. So I think we've come to the end of this program. And before we go, you know the slogan for NSBE. When we say NSBE, you say power. Okay, so NSBE.
Power!
Okay, I'll do it again, sorry. NSBE.
Power!
NSBE.
Power!
Okay, thank you all for your enthusiasm. Thank you so much for being here. So we want to have another, we want to thank NSBE for this. Okay, guys, have a good night. Have a good night. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye, Nanama.
Bye, Lois.
Bye.
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 Bye, Maureen. Bye, Betty. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so
Auntie
much,
Pat, for
Preba.
coming. My auntie is on the platform.
Bye, Olivia.
Bye.
Olivia. Bye.
Olivia, bye.
Oh,
Bye.
Oh my God. Okay.
Bye.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Let's learn with three people. Let's wait and assess ourselves so that we know exactly what to do next time.
Hello, bye-bye, bye-bye. Hi,
Roger, can I pick this call? 1 second.
Preba, let's meet
Hello.
and chat,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, PJ. Bye. Thank you so much.
Funny, you know. Which part of the high street?